Okay, we are here in Bangkok for the Traders Carnival and we have taken time out to do a special interview with a special guest, Samir Arora. Of course, you see him on television almost every month or every once in 2 months if he obliges us to talk about markets. But what we're going to do here is, of course, we'll talk about markets, but we'll talk about a lot more. We'll talk about Samir's personality, a lot of nuances, the way he has enjoyed his life, any regrets that he has in life. Let's discuss all of that. Samir, thank you so much for taking time out and talking to us. You're very popular back in India. One thing which stands out, which a lot of people ask me is, first thing go to ask Samir is that he stayed in New York, you stayed in Singapore, you stayed in so many places, but you still maintained your Indian Punjabi accent.
Correct.
How have you done that?
My thinking is that there are some people who change their accent because they are going to the airport to receive some relative in India, and by going to the airport they change their accent. And there are some people like me who've studied abroad and haven't changed. One reason could be that I went late in life to US. People who go for undergrad, I think it's not good or bad, but I've somehow, and also my job has always been India related for 20 years. So talking to people in India all the time, you have had no need to change even a few tones or something.
Okay, the other thing that I've found out about you is that wherever you have gone, you only loved Indian food, and you even now can only eat Indian food. Is that right?
No, I would like Indian food, but I can eat Thai food, Italian food, and maybe Mexican food, because that is all having some angle which I've had in India. But I am not interested in searching for new foods in new places. And when I go traveling, I am not trying to find new restaurants. I am trying to find maybe new places. But that way, yes.
What's your daily routine, Samir? Because you stay in Singapore where quality of life is high. I mean, you got everything at your doorstep in terms of whether it's fitness equipment, whether it's good quality of food, whether it's good public transport or private transport. So what's your lifestyle? I mean, how do you normally go about it?
So lifestyle of a fund manager generally is much more defined than other jobs. So I am in office precisely at maybe 9:20 and I leave at 6:01. Okay. 6:01 means because the Indian market closes at 6 p.m. Singapore time. Yes. And at 6:02 I will not be there. Yes. Some of the other guys in the team are there because they have to calculate the NAV for that day. Yes. And to go home or to come to office takes less than 20 minutes. So after that there's a lot of extra time relative to other places where it would, you would not leave precisely at a fixed time. So yes, we do many things, including I read every day. Book, not magazines or newspapers, which anyway is part of the job. And we see English movie serials or even Hindi movies. But basically, these days, other time, and we walk for about 40 minutes. Okay. And rest of that is basically reading and a little bit of TV.
Okay, so what's the latest book that you've read? I know that you're an avid reader. Anything in particular?
So right now I am reading 2 books because I didn't bring the other book here. So I am reading Misbehaving by a guy called Richard Thaler, who founded behavioral economics, basically saying that, in economics people say that this guy is rational, he maximizes his return but takes care of his risk, which he says is all nonsense. And basically his book is about how you are not behaving in line with what the economics theory is. And so his argument or his stream, basically he's sort of the founder of that theme. He's a University of Chicago professor. Very good book, must read. The other one I'm reading, which I brought to Thailand with me, is Tableen Singh's new book.
Is it important for fund managers to read a lot?
I think it is super important. And these days even more important. Because the whole idea in our life is to connect. There is no value in a fund manager trying to find new information about a company or EPS. But that is not making any difference to anybody. Yeah. It doesn't matter that I thought that the EPS should be 820, but actually it turned out to be 840, or that it was 8, but I have a feeling that it'll beat it by 1 cent. It makes a difference once in every 50 stocks because there might be a very big turn in that company's life. Okay. But generally speaking, if you are talking about a portfolio, in 95% of the cases, it not matter whether it's 1 cent higher or lower or 1 paisa rupee, 10 paisa here. Reading is part of the thing because I'm telling you, I can sit in my office and I connect that this thing has happened there or this thing happened in the past or that this thing is logical or illogical. So right now, one book which I tell everybody to read, which is a scary book, is Rise of the Robos. It's basically not about robos, but it's basically saying that the jobs will be more and more and more difficult to have. Now, and that automation will be big and big and big. Now you tell me, if I look in a big picture sense, why has Infosys done well in the last 2-3 years? Because Vishal Sikka has been saying these things for 2 years. Yeah. I read it maybe 6 months ago, but he must have maybe read the book 2 years ago. But the point is, it has gelled with the guys who... Yeah. But if you had read the book, you would have connected with it much faster, that this is the new change, that what you can offshore, you can automate. So you have to know about these things, and you're not going to think of them by reading, newspapers in India.
Since you brought up this topic, do you think Infosys has well and truly turned corner? I mean, it didn't do anything for so many years. TCS became almost 3 times of Infosys. Now things are changing a bit.
But I don't know, because we own it. But I don't know whether it's turned the corner. But the point is, in a market, if most of these big guys are always doing adequately well or reasonably well, yes. But the market fancy becomes for some things that you do, either you talk better, you disclose better, you give some strategy which may not be yielding fruit then and there, and you have to take a bet. Mm-hmm. And then that gets reinforced for a few quarters. So actually, if you say turn around, we will not know, but the stock is doing well because recent returns and recent announcements have all been reinforcing each other. So
just to get back to that book, someone told me that you genuinely think that robots will take over the world one day.
No, they won't take over the world one day, but this book will convince you that they will take over many of the jobs. Okay. And the problem will be that the guys who are controlling up to a point these robots, they will still have jobs. But many jobs, journalism jobs, analysis job, by the way, private banking advisory job, these are already being done according to this book in different places. So I am just reading, I read the latest book and I get convinced because it looks logical to me. That, for example, there's a story there that burger making, the Americans have already made a machine. It's already out there. It has not gone across the board, but it's there. So now that, just the presence of that machine means that you can negotiate better with the employees, saying that I can substitute you with the machine.
Scary you said journalism, when you said about the first set of jobs.
There is an example there. There is an example in the book that these robotic ride, whatever you call these apps, not app, but whatever it is, that they can create stories every 20 seconds. If you want, suppose you are to populate a website with news stories, breaking news stories. So it'll pick up things from the net, and it'll write a story as if a human being has written it. It's not really for in-depth journalism like interviewing me, but it is like if you just want to have a site where constantly news is getting updated, that news is being not written by anybody, but just by automation.
Okay, what else? I believe you are an avid watch collector. How many watches do you have?
I have maybe 10. Okay. But the thing is, these watches are not simple watches, so you have to buy them when you're in a good mood. Mm-hmm. So the last one I bought, which I call the Modi watch, is because the money made in 14, and it's a Lang & Son Zeitwerk. If you see it, I normally wear it, but I didn't bring it here. Yeah, these are a bit high-end watches, and so 10 is a big number. But it's not that I'm right now going to buy another one as if every month I buy or every year I buy, but I buy, yes.
Okay, so, and what else? Sunglasses or any other pension that you have?
No, that's, no, that is not.
Okay. So let's now talk about something that we're both passionate about. Let's talk about certain nuances in market. What is the most, what you call, let's put it that way, most stupid or idiotic nuance that you've heard? For me, what I hear is that earnings have missed estimates.
Correct.
Or earnings have missed consensus. It's the consensus which is wrong, not the earnings missing the consensus. What is
my thing is that people, my thing is that there are many things. For example, on days it is announced that one company, say CEO has been raided, say CEO has been arrested, I'm talking in India, say you found black money in his office, say you had a corruption case charged against that company, massive trading happens. Who are the guys who buy that day? I want to understand the guy who buys a company because some government is about to come to power. So that means, and that one particular company goes up, say, 10%. So what is the thesis of a fund manager buyer that this government is going to blatantly help this company?
Latest example was
No, any example.
Yeah.
Or it could be somebody's arrested.
Yeah.
Who are the guys, or somewhere they find cash in somebody's office. Who are the guys who buy saying, no, don't worry, this is India, this will get suppressed, no, he is part of this. Why does the guy think like that for buying? Selling guy is very easy, that he doesn't want such companies. But somebody comes along and has massive trading on those days. So what bet is he taking? That these things are normal, these things should not be counted. I get very upset with the fund manager guy who has a job, who's doing it for other people, who's betting that if some corrupt practice has been found, I have discounted it because, these things it'll take 10 years in court. That kind of attitude I don't like. What bugs me the most.